Story 1. Using the application at all is difficult. They are complete disasters, and it is an easy way to dislike yourself and waste your time. Story 2. Sending thoughtful initial messages to tens of women and receiving no responses. Or, if one does respond, they will stop replying soon enough. Story 3. Can we all collectively just quit dating applications? Most of the women on there are looking for the top 1% men, and the rest are either growing their Instagram following and other services they offer or just seeking attention. Men, just leave the applications. You are a complete and wonderful human being with dignity, not a product that can be summed up in 6 photos and a biography. Story 4. It reminds me how difficult my life really is. Like 20-year-old girls with pictures of camping, fishing, travel, and skiing. But when I was 20, I had to block my dad so he would stop asking me for money, and all my friends were only into playing video games or sitting in a dark room drinking. I have been fishing and camping too, but I have no pictures because I had to go alone. I feel jaded and bitter despite my best efforts. It's like we are different species. Story 5. They only work for certain kinds of people. The thing is, since it is overflowed with too many of us, we are all competing for the same women. You either end up with little to no matches that are few and far between. When you do match, they might end up ghosting you or not responding to texts at all. So it is best to not invest too much and go outside into third spaces. Story 6. Most men are not physically attractive to women. Most men attract women with presence, which cannot be conveyed through apps. We are taught not to focus on the superficial, but that is all the apps offer. A man who rates himself an 8 just trying to have casual sex will give attention to women who rate themselves 4s for an easy encounter. Of course, a woman who rates herself a 4 will choose a man who rates himself an 8 over someone rating 5 or 6. A man who rates himself an 8 will not give time or consideration to a woman who rates herself a 2. So, you have a man rating himself 5 or 6 trying to find love and a woman rating herself 4 trying to find love. They may miss each other because she thinks an 8 will take her seriously when he does not. The woman holding out for an 8 and the man rating 5 or 6 only getting attention from a woman rating 2. No one is truly happy, but the man gets his satisfaction from a woman who comes to him as a casual encounter when the bar is close. Story 7. The apps themselves? Like how they will bait you. I set a specific filter to 50 kilometers around me, and the app shows me someone from Asia as a possible match, which is most likely a bot. They just want you to stay on the app to make money with advertisements. The apps have no interest in helping you. Story 8. The massive double standards are evident. I see all the red flags and negative traits in every single woman's dating profile. There is also the expectation that if a conversation goes poorly or is uninteresting, it is my fault. A conversation is a two-way interaction. It requires participation from both sides. Story 9. I have never used dating applications and never will, since I think meeting people naturally is best. I do dislike dating applications because they prevent women who could be great for me from going outside and actually meeting me. Story 10. Back when I had Tinder, it was rare that someone would be interested and like my profile. Out of curiosity, I switched to the gay side and received about 20 messages from men in 3 hours. I realized that day that if I were gay, I would have someone to connect with every day of the week. Story 11. Most men would be incredibly lucky to get matches and dates. Even if you are that lucky, you have to deal with many women who have an ever-increasing list of unrealistic expectations, which further narrows their dating prospects significantly. I was discussing this with a coworker, as she is on dating applications. She wants a man who is at least 6 feet tall. She is 6 feet tall herself. Financially stable, earns at least $80,000 a year, she calculated, fit and healthy, and has a car. Her chances of finding that man are less than 1% of the male population. But she does not want to compromise on any of her requirements. I explain this because the most frustrating part of dating applications is the applications themselves for both parties involved. Most men would be lucky to receive a date. Meanwhile, women are getting dates with men who know they are desirable, so they get what they want from them and discard them. It is just a negative situation at this point. Story 12. Used them years ago. Tried again recently after a breakup and deleted all applications immediately. In my opinion, they seem to be dying off. I think this is a good thing. It forces men like myself to go out and interact organically with others in a social environment. I am definitely more introverted, so this is a challenge I am willing to take on now. Story 13. Having seemingly good conversations, like you were getting on well and then suddenly ghosted or unmatched. I had someone who was writing very long messages to me, and I was responding in kind. The vibes seemed good. Then one morning, she unmatched me. The applications have caused me some terrible self-confidence issues in the past. I do not care as much now because my expectations are very low. I know it is not just me. There are many thousands of men in the same situation. I keep the applications as an option now but would much rather meet someone in daily life. However, I think applications make that less likely as well. Story 14. The way they have changed. With all of them being swipe applications where, on most, you have to match or pay to message, and you cannot just review who is available to get a feel for who is out there, it has become much more difficult to meet people. I am not good at constructing a good profile, though I have a decent idea of what I should do. So I tend not to do very well on the applications. Well enough to occasionally meet someone, but there is a definite lack of matches. The old applications, back when they were dating websites instead of swipe applications, were much better. OkCupid, in particular, allowed me to set my distance to within 50 miles, which is, in most cases, an hour or less drive from me. The site respected that and only showed me women within 50 miles, so I knew they were at a reasonable distance. Because I could browse profiles, I could get a real idea of who was out there and actually think about if she seemed interesting based on her profile instead of needing to make a snap judgment before seeing anyone else. Finally, being able to message without matching meant I was not so reliant on my profile being excellent, because I could just start a conversation. Yes, on the old applications it was common to have messages ignored, but that was okay because I could message 5 women who seemed to fit what I was looking for, wait a few days, and if no responses, try again with others. If you just reach out, it is amazing how many responses you do get. Also, back then, even if someone was not interested, it was common to get a response indicating I was not what she was looking for but wishing me luck or letting me know she had found someone and appreciated the message. In short, even people who were not interested tended to be kind and communicate. Basically, on the old applications, being able to reach out let me play to my strengths instead of contend with my weaknesses, and people used to be a lot more human, normal, and communicative with the older style of dating applications. The new swipe application culture has really created a setup where I cannot play to my strengths by reaching out with a message that will be seen, and where people do not treat each other like people anymore because of how gamified the whole process has become. What is frustrating is they have made dating much worse than it used to be, when we know there is a better way to do dating applications because they used to exist. Story 15. Having the free time to respond and remembering to do so is challenging. Dating applications are convenient, but balancing work and life makes it difficult to find time to plan and attend dates. Story 16. A friend of mine was telling me how she could barely keep up with all the messages she was receiving. I had 2 matches in a month, and both stopped responding after saying hi. I deleted the application. Story 17. I have had 0 luck on dating applications. I tried for 2 years. The only person I ever talked to was a bot. I gave up on them. Other than meeting somebody in real life, I might remain single. At 40, it looks like I will remain single. Story 18. After an entire year on several dating applications, I have matched with dozens of women. Most were automated accounts, some were escorts or scammers, and some were real people. Of the approximately 40% of women on dating applications who I matched with and who are real people, all but one either randomly unmatched or stopped texting. The one person who did not do this canceled 2 hours before we were supposed to go out and never replied to any of my further messages. I had already bought her a gift and flowers. I have spent an entire year on these applications and have not gone on a single date. I have asked women I know to rate my profile, posted to several online forums asking the same, and have made changes to my profile to meet their preferences. Several female friends have told me that while there is room for improvement, I am not actively doing anything wrong. Every woman I have asked has said that any woman would be lucky to have me, and that if it were them, they would swipe right. I have a job, a car, and a master's degree. I am above average intelligence and height. Multiple women have told me that I am incredibly attractive and one of the most emotionally intelligent men they have ever met. I mention these things to provide context. The frustrating part is the disconnect. There is nothing I want more than to find someone to buy flowers for, hold the door for, and have a long conversation with while watching a sunset. Someone to share life with and talk to for hours while sitting on a couch. I continuously work on myself. Many women say they want a man who does these things. Many have told me any woman would be lucky to have me. Many have said they would swipe right and that I am doing nothing wrong. Yet, I still have not been on a single date. I would rather accept difficult truths than agree with the idea that women only date emotionally unavailable men, but I am running out of alternatives. Story 19. I am kind of done with applications. Women do not make the first move, they do not send the first message, nor do they often reply to messages. It has reached the point where I wonder why women use the applications if they do not engage in conversation. I understand they must receive many messages a day, but still, men are tired of making the first move, both online and in real life. It is time to mature and take initiative. I am tired of always doing it and being ignored or ghosted. It has reached the point where I question why even bother if all I receive are empty words and actions. Story 20. I once went 3 months of blind right swipes every single day. I did not match with anyone within 50 miles, ages 23 to 55. I had some female friends help with the profile, but still nothing. I laughed really hard when Bumble and Tinder stocks dived over 70%. Story 21. Two-part issue for me. First, trying to find an opening line, especially because most women's pages that I come across leave very little to discuss or start a conversation about. Second, knowing that I will most likely get bored or disinterested halfway through the conversation and have to bow out. Story 22. When I used them 15 to 20 years ago, I got many likes and dates. Now, I have a child and still have my hair but am lucky to get a like. There was even more competition between men and women. Story 23. Honestly, it feels like a job interview mixed with a lottery. You put effort into your profile, swipe for days, match maybe once or twice, and then the conversation dies after hey. It is exhausting trying to stand out without sounding fake, and half the time, you do not even know if the other person is actually looking to meet or just scrolling out of boredom. Story 24. Dating applications have taught me much more than pornography ever did. To only pursue the one in a million and to mistakenly consider the rest as inadequate. Instead of building relationships, we keep scorecards and make no meaningful connections. Story 25. I don't have any frustrating parts. Dating applications have been pretty decent to me once I had a woman help fix my profile. Story 26. They are a scam that hooks men into paying for subscriptions as if their payment will make a difference. Guys, get off the dating apps. It is a waste of time and especially a waste of money. While you are gushing over your phone call with her an hour ago, she is still swiping. Do not expect a loyal wife from Tinder and Bumble, and especially do not be surprised that after you proposed and decided to commit to her, she has still been swiping on the same app you deleted months or years ago because you thought you found the one. Story 27. Not getting matches and initiating contact through messages while no one responds. I deleted all my dating apps about 2 years ago. It pains me to say I am still single, but I respect myself and my mental health too much to keep trying that way. Story 28. I found that whatever type of women you register as attractive, the app will go out of its way to show you the complete opposite. I am actually into significantly overweight women, but the app showed me shorter, thinner women who were not my type at all. The type of women that a dating app attracts often does not make it seem worthwhile. I was thinking to myself, surely this cannot be my dating pool. Until I have worked on myself significantly, I do not think I will use dating apps for a long time. Story 29. There is a lot of discussion blaming women on dating applications. I understand the position of a man on dating applications. Women have the exact opposite problem. There is a massive influx of men trying to convince them to spend time with them. That is incredibly overwhelming. If your phone went off 100 times a day and every time it was someone pestering you because you are attractive enough to either love, have a casual relationship with, or date, you would ignore your phone too. Stop blaming women who do not have the time or energy to give 100 men a fair chance and accept the fact that there is more than one way to meet someone, but it is easier to do from your bathroom. If the applications bother you, try meeting people in real life. It is terrifying, but your chances are drastically higher. This is not to say that the applications are not difficult for men, but that is a competition issue like a pond with 100 fishermen. If I looked outside and saw 100 hooks in the air, I certainly would not go for a walk. Story 30. I'm not great at text communication in the best of circumstances, never mind as a way to start getting to know someone. So essentially, it just feels like wasted effort because I'll probably never actually meet the few matches I get. Story 31. Just people who message you first but don't reply to your response. Like they expect some amazing witty answer. It is probably something like they send the same message to 5 guys and look for the best answer. I find it a really bad indicator of whether you vibe with a person. But the people who give me a chance end up liking me. Story 32. When I used to do it, it was the amount of work and effort put into it without getting desirable results. Eventually, I quit and went out to meet more women more easily. I don't take a lot of pictures, so I hated the idea of dating apps. To be honest, the only reason I got on in the first place was for an easy encounter without the hassle of walking up and talking to a woman trying to get her number. So yes, I was genuinely being lazy. Story 33. That they are even a thing. For hundreds and thousands of years, humans had no problem finding each other and forming relationships. I have never had a problem meeting new people in real life. Someone or something convinced you all there is a problem that requires a solution, but that is not true at all. Literally, just go get out there. Story 34. The app wants to take your money. Most dating apps make their money from men, and some of the prices are ridiculous. For example, Tinder has 5 subscription tiers. Free dating apps are filled with OnlyFans models not interested in dating, just wanting you to subscribe to their content, and scammer bots trying to defraud you financially. All this happens while you pay for an overpriced subscription. You can easily tell if someone is an OnlyFans model on the app because they often say, "Don't talk on here much. Add me on Instagram or Snapchat instead." I found out from a female friend who has an OnlyFans account that women get permanently banned for linking their OnlyFans in their bios. This is a way to get around the ban, trying to fool men into thinking there is something more. Then there are women who are just rude and stuck up for no reason. You see bios of bitter women claiming they want a long-term relationship with a man, yet their entire bio is just negative about men. I once matched with a woman whose bio said, "I think all men are assholes. Be the one to prove me wrong," and I immediately unmatched her. Others complain that men put no effort into conversations or openers, often just saying, "Hey." Yet, most of the women's bios I saw were nearly empty, putting no effort into their profiles, giving me and other men nothing to work with. The majority of women who messaged me first opened with, "Hey." Bumble ended the women message first rule because women did not like it. When I was on Bumble, some women would send just a period and then expect me to start the conversation. They then had the audacity to complain about men being lazy. Some women use so many filters they probably don't look like that in person, increasing the risk of being catfished. Also, some gay men create dating profiles claiming to be straight women trying to hook up with straight men. That was annoying. I am a straight man and not interested in gay men. Paying £35 a month to deal with all that nonsense on apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge is ridiculous. That's £420 a year and £2,100 over 5 years. It's a scam to me. Quitting the apps greatly improved my mental and financial health. I have better luck meeting women offline. Story 35. I only use Facebook dating now for entertainment. Some of the biographies are amazing. When I was on Facebook dating and Tinder, one of the most frustrating parts was when someone matched with me but did not talk, especially if they liked me first. It can be frustrating and exhausting for your personality when you send out many likes and get none in return. Also, it annoyed me that I had to pay Tinder to see who liked me. Story 36. The vast majority of women sliding into my direct messages or chat open with the stereotypical low effort, "Hey, I do not respond to that anymore." Story 37. Receiving no messages or likes except from people who are not my type and bots who live far away and want money. Then being asked to upgrade to premium for everything. Story 38. The hardest part is not receiving any likes, messages, or responses to your likes and messages for 4 months despite any effort you put in. I know I am not breaking any records when it comes to attractiveness, but I did not think I was this unappealing. Story 39. I have been using it for the last 7 to 8 months. So far, only one girl matched with me, and she talked for 5 to 10 minutes before disappearing. I swipe endlessly and have not gotten any matches since then. I do not know what is wrong. My profile is decent, I think. I am thinking of quitting. It is too frustrating not getting any matches after scrolling for 1 to 2 hours daily. Story 40. What's almost worse than getting no interest at all is getting just enough interest to give you hope and then none. Getting a match on Bumble and it expires, for example. Trying to craft a good unique opening message after a match just to get ghosted or unmatched. Women who seem more interested in getting you to jump through hoops than actually getting to know you. Story 41. I met my wife in a Facebook group chat back in 2018. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If Facebook were not so outdated. Story 42. Everyone is very superficial, and while I am not going to dispute that physical attraction is a big part of a successful relationship, most of the applications reduce it to exclusively that personality be damned. Hardly anyone is looking for a genuine connection anymore. You are either dealing with people who want casual encounters or people who have grown out of their hedonistic phase and are now looking for something stable. Assuming you actually get matches, you will probably get ignored or have to compete with the 300 other people they are talking to. Unless you are determined and willing to play the numbers game, you will probably end up worse off than before. Story 43. I stopped using it because I find that it negatively affects my self-worth and that connections are unreliable. It is a game I do not want to play. Story 44. Always frustrating. I have the feeling that everybody is waiting for someone better, and life is passing while everyone remains single. Story 45. Women answering my questions with very basic answers, giving me little to work with and not asking me anything in return. Story 46. Most recently, people have been downright rude. It used to be one in a few when I first used them. I guess when they said that dating applications are full of lemons, they were right. Maybe I automatically label myself as a lemon just by signing up for them. Story 47. When I get a bunch of matches and feel excited, under the illusion that I am about to meet many girls, every one of them is either a scammer, does not message, unmatches for no reason, or ghosts me. It is disappointing every time, even though I am used to it already. Story 48. When I use those platforms, it is just a group of people who like to collect pictures and try to get money from you. It was not until I left them altogether that I actually found my husband. Story 49. Dating apps have been disappointing for me. I finally got a match, and the conversation started well until I asked how long she had been on the app. She said 3 years, and I replied, "That's a long time." After that, she ghosted me and left a comment saying I had zero tact. Whatever that means. Aside from that one match, it is mostly silence. As a man, you get very little engagement. Dating apps are repetitive, draining, and honestly not great for your mental health. Every dating app is the same. Story 50. It is like a video game. You easily swipe left or right to find the right one for you, like a sorting method. Also, the inflated competition does not help at all. Having the wrong description reduces the potential by tenfold. Story 51. When they use old photos from 7 to 10 years ago, most women in the state of Illinois are liberal. However, I noticed something. I conducted an experiment and found that not all liberal women want to date liberal men. They prefer someone in between. They want a masculine man who is conservative, but more like a fragile masculine man. Yes, it is unusual. This experiment has been ongoing for 9 months. I will share the results online soon. Story 52. Setting up and agreeing on a date, only for them to ignore you on the day of, or say nothing until 30 minutes to an hour before the scheduled time with an excuse, is just a constant waste of time. Story 53. I met my fiancée on a dating application. She was one of the only people to actually keep a conversation going with me. Everyone else would stop after a day or two. That was the most frustrating part for me. We went on a first date after a week of messaging. That was it. We talked as if we had known each other our whole lives. That was 7 years ago. Story 54. 2 years on dating applications. I met exactly one person who was actually worth it. The whole dating application experience is terrible. It is like wandering in a desert, and it made me develop bitterness. Story 55. I am not particularly attractive. I do not have any great photos of myself, and I do not really know how to express myself well through text. Story 56. The emphasis on having social photos can vary from person to person, but I am not the sort of person who takes photos of myself or has photos taken while I am doing things. I just do not have that instinct. If I am doing something fun, my last thought is going to be, okay, hold on, pause everything, someone get your smartphone out and take pictures of me. Indeed, that kind of behavior seems almost vile to me. Can you not just enjoy the moment? Do you have to take photos like an egomaniac? But you are expected to do that. Most dating applications will not even let you finish a profile without at least 10 photos. To me, photos should just be a headshot to show what you look like. The rest of the profile should express your personality, not be a gallery of, oh my God, I just cannot stop taking pictures of myself. My ego is the size of the moon. Nonsense. I realize I will be downvoted for this, but it is my post, and I will vent my frustrations in it if I want to. Story 57. 1. Dating applications are the opposite of genuine connection. I create a profile for myself and so do others. If the profile does not match reality or if chemistry does not occur through messaging within the first few exchanges, interest fades. 2. Dating applications often create the expectation that dreams can be fulfilled without effort. I do not know how to be in a relationship with someone I have not had the privilege of spending time with. Time needs to be invested. No profile I create will inspire a desire to spend time with me. 3. The expectations placed on me as a man. I cannot promise to provide her with 5 children, a farmstead, cows, a truck, fine dining, clean clothes, running water, a warm house, and food on the table. The economics of these expectations are unrealistic. This does not even consider that I might not feel safe showing vulnerability around her. Story 58. Dating applications were ruined by immature males who have no respect for women and keep trying to manipulate the system. I met many interesting women on Tinder in the past, but the applications have become unusable because of unpleasant people. Story 59. Ugh. Everything. It is self-torture for men to even stay on. If every man left dating applications except one average man, that last man standing would still get no matches. That is how messed up dating applications are now. Story 60. They were a waste of time and money. I do not have to waste money to be ignored by women. There are enough of them who do that in real life. Story 61. The monetization. I am not paying $40 a month just to see who is liking my profile. I know it could provide valuable insight and lead to some potential opportunities, but so far all of them have been older than me, which is a non-starter. I did not find them attractive or both. Story 62. Honestly, when I consider the most frustrating part, I have to say it's me. My style of effort doesn't align with dating applications. I understand that most relationships vary greatly depending on who is involved, and I am open to whatever might happen. I am usually cautious and choose to message or like only the people I think I would like. If I do get a match, I stop or drastically slow down swiping and messaging other people because, although I am polyamorous, I know how much time I can invest in people and do not want to become too busy and burn out. I would probably have more success if I were more aggressive, but the mindset needed to maintain that approach leads to negative feelings of self-doubt and desperation, which cause more harm than good. So yes, it's me, my personality, and genuinely wanting something that ends well, rather than a few months of emotional and sexual highs followed by lows when it crashes. Story 63. talk and get along really well for about 2 days, then open the app to their profile and messages only to find they are gone. Story 64. In the 11 or 12 years I had Tinder, I only matched with 3 real women. Other matches were bots, OnlyFans models, or scammers. Of those 3 matches, none led to in-person meetups or dates. This left me with the distinct impression that I was not that attractive, and I accepted that. Earlier this year, I was at a kink event. Multiple women said I was attractive and directly asked me for sex. At one point, a few girls lined up to kiss me. One girl begged me and my new lady friend for a threesome. So, the next time I found myself on Tinder, I said, "This is stupid," and deleted the app. Story 65. For fun, I signed up for Hinge a couple of months ago. Many photos of women on there were generated or enhanced by artificial intelligence. Plus, that is just an ego boost for women to begin with. Story 66. Having to play detective to spot fake profiles. Like, sure, Brad, you are definitely a neurosurgeon who models part-time with those clearly stolen photos from some Instagram influencer. Story 67. Get off the applications, my friends. Girls are way too shallow on these platforms. Maybe 1 to 2% care about you as a person, rather than objectify you based on looks. My younger sister broke up with a man after 1 date. She even admitted he was full of positive traits because he was a little short, and she couldn't imagine herself kissing him. It turns out he was the son of a $1 million chief executive officer and was extremely well off. She only found out after he said, "If we meet again, then it's fate." I am pretty sure that man knew women were only after his money, and the fact he showed all positive traits before talking about his wealth shows how bad these platforms are. Story 68. Too many options. You want to give them all a chance for at least a coffee date. But who has that kind of time? There were so many fun dates that it was hard to decide whom to focus my attention on. There are many great women out there. It was overwhelming because I had not been single for about 20 years. Finally, after several months, I picked one and deleted all the apps. Felt really good. Story 69. How rarely I ever get liked back, and when I do, it is rare for them to even reply to me. I am a good-looking guy, not super hot, but decently good-looking. I cannot imagine how difficult it is for less attractive men. In all honesty, at this point, I do not really use dating apps. If someone likes me, I will like them back, but I am not going to send the first message. The day a woman messages me first is the day I will become more active on dating apps again. Until then, I will gladly focus on myself. Story 70. I use dating applications. I am 6 feet tall, have no six-pack, an okay job but nothing special. I dated conventionally attractive women and finally settled down with a very attractive Eastern European woman. I see so much negativity regarding dating applications, and I immediately assume all the self-hating losers flock to Reddit to complain to each other, shouting, "It cannot be me. It is the applications." Some even take it further and blame women in general. As someone who dated online around 2020 and again in 2022 after the first relationship failed, meeting a lot of women and going on many dates, I just assume there are a ton of men out there who lack charisma, cannot text with a woman to set up dinner, and it is sort of funny. Story 71. The red flag that almost all women on dating applications have is the need for constant external validation. These women will never be truly happy and are like addicts looking for their next hit. I have a lot of family, and seeing where the end goal of dating applications is for most men makes me want to stop. Our society is set up to create miserable married women and to discard men once they are used up. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.